Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to Primary Market Charter brought to you by Sunday Investing. This is our October first week IPOs edition. Uh, and this is a light week where we have less IPOs, but also a very heavy week in terms of the quantum of raise of IPOs. कम IPOs हैं, but बहुत बड़े बड़े IPOs हैं. We have Tata Capital, which is a 15,500 crore IPO. We have LG, which is a 11,000 crore IPO. We have WeWorks, which is a, if I understand it right, 3,000 crore IPO. And then we have a couple of SMEs and one Mainboard towards the end of the week as well. What we'll do is we'll keep this episode light. We'll try and do three companies today. We'll start with WeWorks. Then we'll go to the one SME which is coming tomorrow, closing tomorrow, Greenleaf Envirotech, and then we'll close with Tata Capital. That is with respect to the agenda for the day. But before we actually start, I want to again highlight a few things for everyone's advantage. One, our opinion is not qualified opinion. We are not SEBI registered research analysts. So do not take any of the opinion on face value. आप अपना study खुद से करें and basis that take a decision. Whatever we are saying is just our own opinion. We might do it, we might not do it on listing as well. We don't understand what do you plan to do. And listing we don't talk, but in terms of IPO also, think of it as only information and then figure out what you want to do with that information. It's us chatting on what we like with respect to companies and what we don't like. So this is more of a show of just people talking about what their plans for the week's IPO is. Second, if you haven't joined our YouTube channel, go ahead and do that. The link is in the pinned comments for YouTube. ऊपर लिंक है, वहां पे हम जब भी कंपनीज का आईपीओ क्लोज होता है तो वो वहां पे डाल ही देते हैं. सो गो अहेड एंड डू दैट एज वेल. देन what I will also do is we are also on Instagram now. So I'm posting the Instagram link as well. So if you haven't joined us on Instagram, go ahead and do that as well. मैं उसको भी अभी pinned comments में ऊपर डाल रहा हूँ. उसके बाद one last thing, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. We'll be covering questions as well. Other than that, मेरे को किसी ने बोला WhatsApp mute कर दो. I have done that. Sorry. In terms of voice, the voice should be clear. But yeah, with that we can go ahead and get started. So सबसे पहले जो कंपनी करेंगे वो करेंगे WeWork India Management. So setting up the company, incorporated in 2016. Company is a flexible workspace operator in India. Company has 68 operational centers with 1.14 lakh desks. Capacity across 8 cities in India, of which Bangalore and Mumbai contribute a significant portion. So WeWork नाम अपन सबने सुना है. बेसिकली कंपनी लॉन्ग टर्म लीज पे लेती है एंड देन शॉर्ट टर्म में स्मॉलिश स्पेसेस में रेंट पे देती है. बहुत सारी कोवर्किंग कंपनीज आई हैं. दिस सीम्स टू बी वन ऑफ देम, बट ऑल्सो हैज अ मोर higher name as like better brand in terms of B2C, if I can say so, than other players, because it is also it used to be a MNC in India. Now they have separated from my understanding, but Tanmay will talk more when he explains this. In terms of the IPO, it's a 3,000 crore IPO, 3,000 crore का IPO, all of which is a OFS. So काफी बड़ा OFS है. एम कैप 8600 8700 पे है. 8700 पे 3000 CR का डाइल्यूशन है. मतलब और कंपनी में भी पैसा नहीं जा रहा है. प्रमोटर्स आर टेकिंग एग्जिट. कुछ तो फंड वगैरह होगा जो एग्जिट कर रहा होगा, बट 35% डाइल्यूशन है. सो लॉट ऑफ डाइल्यूशन कमिंग इन द कंपनी. इन टर्म्स ऑफ द FY25 फाइनेंशियल्स, रेवेन्यू 2000 करोड़ टाइप का था और पैट 128 करोड़ का है. इसमें क्या वन टाइम है क्या नहीं है, विल फिगर आउट. बट 128 करोड़ पे इट्स कमिंग एट लाइक 70 PE, बट not to look at on PE level. And again, we need to figure out how much of this is sustainable. In terms of the LM is JM Financial, ICICI, Jefferies, Kotak, and 361. So over to you, Tanmay, to talk about WeWork.
Is my voice clear?
Yeah.
So WeWork India Management Limited is India's largest flexible workspace solutions provider, known for its premium and grade A inventory. So what I mean by premium and grade A, that is, a very simple concept. So the realization matters here. So if you just look at realization of some other operators except WeWork, they range between 9,000 to 13,000, 12,500 rupees per seat. Okay, and this guy does 19 to 20,000. So, and why is it so? Two things. First is the quality of the inventory. Like these guys are into completely luxury, not I won't say luxury, but prestige kind of a workspace. Much better quality and customization. Uh, and the locations are extremely premium, like BKC हो गया, आपका एम्बेसी हो गया, आपका ब्लैकस्टोन सतवग हो गया, वो उस तरीके का वेरी प्रीमियम लोकेशंस एंड वेरी प्रीमियम इन्वेंट्री इज व्हाट आई मीन बाय ग्रेड ए इन्वेंट्री. The company is owned and promoted by Embassy Group, which is a very reputed and known real estate giant in the southern markets. The company has got 94% of its inventory in the grade A, so 94% का premium inventory है. So the company has got 1.15 lakh seats operational, 68 centers which are operational in nature, and a leasable area of 7.7 million square feet. As per the CBRE report, WeWork is 40 to 45% higher than the second player and 2.5 times greater in terms of the profitability. ठीक है, सो मतलब जो दूसरा प्लेयर है उनसे ये 40 से 45% बड़े हैं और पैट के हिसाब से ऑलमोस्ट 3.5 गुना टाइप्स है. So extremely large in terms of 2.5 times, not 3.5 times. So the company is raising 3,000 crores, a complete OFS. Now one need to understand the OFS क्यों? Why not a fresh issue? The answer is simple. First, company is having a lot of cash on the books. Second, the company had a good chunk of debt 6 months back, but the promoters have infused, I guess, kuch 300, 400 crores 6 months back and cleared off that debt. And I guess the debt on books at this point is, I guess, 300 crore approx. And the second point would be on the cash flows and profitability. So the company is generating like 300 to 400 crores of profits. It has generated for 25 almost 400 crore plus profits, cash flows. So it doesn't need any kind of a money for doing the capex. In terms of the capex the company needs, the amount has been said in the interview कि हमको साल का 200 से 220 करोड़ का capex लगता है for setting up new centers. So what these guys have said कि historically we have been increasing our inventory by 25%, and for at least next couple of years we should increase by our operational seats by 20% CAGR, which would require a capex of 200 to 220 crores in FY26 and then another 250 to 60 crores in FY27. And if a company is generating 440 to 420 crores cash pat, uh, precisely, so why the hell the company would need fresh issue? So this is the reason the OFS has been done. So, and also on the margins, the company has the best margins in the industry. The second player after this company is, I guess, your this TEC, the execution center, but it has mostly got your overseas out of India inventory. So that guy is at, I guess, कुछ 17% type का cash pat margin, and then the next player would be Office, which is at 13.5%, 14% type. Is that this guy is at 22%, 21.6% precisely. So the profitability ratios are significantly better than the peers. So I'll read out the financials. FY23, the company did a revenue of 1,423 crores and a PAT of 191 crores. 14.5% का PAT margin है. In FY24, the company did a revenue of 1,737 crores and a PAT of 340 crores, a 20.4% margin. And FY25, the company did a revenue of 2,024 crores and a PAT of 421.3 crores. Post-tax, 21.6% का PAT margin है. 21, the company did a revenue of 546 crores and 97 crores का PAT है. So the financials I've read out now are the IGAP financials, ठीक है? And not Ind AS. So what is this? What are these both concepts? These are the simple accounting standards. And why not Ind AS? There are two very simple reasons. First is the EBITDA is very aggressive in the Indian accounting for the co-working companies. The reason is very simple. The lease payments are considered below the EBITDA and not above the EBITDA, as these guys, as the item is a operating cash expense. So if you are just removing the main expenses of your P&L and putting it in below the EBITDA, the EBITDA margin looks like 63%, which is very, very high. In reality, it isn't. And the second thing would be the front loading of heavy depreciation towards the lease liabilities. So in the index, the new lease, the lease assets are considered as a immediate liability for like 4 to 5 years, and there's a heavy non-cash front loading of depreciation, which completely kills your P&L. So, IGAP accounting is a very करेक्ट वे टू लुक एट द फाइनेंशियल, जो आपको मैंने अभी पैट बताया 450 करोड़, दिस इज अ रियल पैट, बट इट डज नॉट शो इन योर इंड एस। ओके, सो जब कोई भी कंपनी को आईपीओ करना होता है, इट इज मैंडेटरी टू गो विद द इंड एस, और उसके पहले मोस्ट कंपनीज डू द एंड गैप अकाउंटिंग ओनली। ठीक है, सो द फाइनेंस आई हैव सेड यू आर मोर रेलेवेंट इन ट्रू सेंस। Okay, the company has came at a market cap of 8,685 crores. So on FY25, the company is coming at 20.5 times PAT. Okay. And on FY26, it is coming as 15.5. तो अभी इसको कैसे डिराइव किया? सिंपल 20% का ऑपरेशन कैपेसिटी CAGR, 76%, 74% blended level utilization was at FY25 end, which should inch up to 77, 78% with the new inventory coming in, which was like 7-8% in the last quarter. And management has already hinted in the interview very clearly that we want to do slightly above the industry. Industry is growing ideally at 19 to 20% in FY26. So that means approx 22% kind of a top line growth, which translates, your FY26 का top line at 2450 to 2500 crores के बीच में, and PAT of 560 crores, ballpark 550, 570 crores, तो उसके हिसाब से 15.5 के PE पे आ रहा है. So when I'm telling PE, it is cash out, but actually it is PE only. Okay, it's now up to you, because as for me it is a PE only. So 15.5 times के PE पे आ रहा है FY26 पे. Now इसका मैं peers का बता देता हूँ. First is your SmartWorks, which is the immediate next player after WeWork. So and I'll just give you the ranking कि कौन किधर है. First in India is WeWork. Second would be Tablespace. Third would be TEC. TEC is the execution center. उसका executive center उसका IPO filed है, वो DRC is filed. Fourth would be SmartWorks. Then we have got Office. Then we have got IndiCube at 6. Then we have got another 2-3 players, which are Beehive है. There's one more player. So ये total 8-9 players का आपको मैंने ranking बता दिया. So the immediate peer after this in the listed space after WeWork should be SmartWorks. FY25 it is at 38 times PAT. FY26 it is at 28-29 times. ठीक है. Office is at 30 times FY25 and 23 times, 20 to 23 times FY26. IndiCube is at 43 times FY25 and 29 times 26. So आप इनका अगर मीन निकालोगे तो FY25 this comes at like roughly 36, 37 times 25 of the mean of the three, and on so 35, 36, 37 times का mean आ रहा है, and it is this company WeWork is come at 20.6. ठीक है. On FY26 the mean would be roughly 26 and a half, 27 times, and this is coming at 15.5 times. ठीक है. So the valuation arbitrage is like extremely significant. 2-3 more good things of this company would be, first is the global access. This is the only Indian operator whose inventory or the assets have gotten global access. Let's say you are an employee from, let's say, Grant Thornton. ठीक है, you thought कि अब मैं US जा रहा हूँ, मेरे को US में भी WeWork चाहिए. You will get in US, you will get in Canada, you will get in any part of the, you will get in Saudi, you will get in Dubai, everywhere you will get WeWork, and the loyalty programs of the WeWork would be helping you to get in there. So this is the only operator which has got this access. So this concept is more relevant for your high level, mid level management kind of a roles, where you need to go and fit yourself with those respective geographies, and not for your lower level employees. And honestly, we work with lower level employees बहुत ही कम काम करते. Reason being it is very premium in nature. So you need to take that one point. Then second would be industry beating numbers in terms of everything. इसका ROC कुछ 80-90% है. Okay, return capital employed industry is at 40%, so it's significantly high. Margins are best. Everything is best. ठीक है. And now the promoter. So this is a very important point. So in 2023, the WeWork Global, which was the US entity, had went bankrupt. Okay. And then in 2025 H1, there's another group which has taken over that company completely. And now WeWork is running as smooth as it was before 2023. And the promoter of the entity which is going public is the Embassy Group, which is a Bangalore-based real estate company. These guys are like 50,000. So these guys have already got two listed company. One is your Embassy REIT. There's one more company. So two REITs, I guess, both are REITs only, and both are at, I guess, 30-40,000 kind of a market cap, and very giant assets, very reputed promoters. So these guys own 74% of the equity in the company before the IPO. Post IPO, it would come at 47%. and the WeWork Global, which had invested $200 million in 2019, just before the COVID, which helped WeWork to survive from the COVID and completely survival at a very minimal debt mark. So these guys have invested $200 million for, I guess, 22%, 21 and half, 22% equity, which was at like 9-10,000. So 9-10,000 crore is not a correct multiple. Reason is very simple. These guys had done two fundraisers. Just give me a minute.
Yeah, while Tanmay comes back, I have a couple of questions which I want to check from him. One is, कि PE level पे shouldn't we look at this EV by EBITDA, adjusted EBITDA for that kind of
Hello.
really look at, right? But I think he's back, so Tanmay, you complete and then I'll ask the questions.
हाँ हाँ. So यार मैं कहा था एक्चुअली, मुझे भूल गया. कुछ याद आ रहा है?
हाँ जी.
नहीं नहीं, आई एम जस्ट सेइंग मैंने लास्ट किधर क्लोज किया था यार. आई जस्ट फॉरगॉट.
वी वर्क जो फॉरेन
हाँ हाँ,
ऑपरेशंस
करेक्ट करेक्ट करेक्ट. So 22% they had before the IPO, and post IPO they should own 11%. ठीक है. So if you just look at blended valuations, the last rights issue was done as, I guess, 20% premium to the IPO price from the Embassy Group. So post IPO, Embassy is the sole promoter of this company. There is no second promoter. The promoter of the Embassy Group owns 1 or 2 shares, so that is insignificant. एक दो शेयर 600-700 रुपए का, whatever it is. So after the IPO, the promoter should own 47%, and WeWork Global will own 11%, 11.23% something, and rest would be public shareholders. And in the public shareholders, I guess कुछ इन्होंने ESOP करा हुआ है employees का, KMPs का, so that is 3-4% another. So 50%, 51% ballpark the promoters own after the IPO. So I would say there's a fear कि भाई WeWork Global insolvent हो गया तो इसका क्या होगा. There is no relation. They are at arm's length. So this one point. Second point would be the new owners for the WeWork Global has been already done. The transaction has been completed. It has been like 2 quarters already. So don't see even WeWork Global at any point, at least for next couple of years, getting hampered for anything. So this was overall. And थोड़ा सा legal litigations, this is very common for the real estate companies. It is in every co-working company, every real estate player. So that is nothing is very extremely significant. छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं. बाकी तो ठीक है. Clientele is super strong. You know, we work at clientele is like the best globally. 25% revenue from the Fortune 500 companies, 25% from the enterprise companies, 20% from the startups, top tier startups. And rest is your co-working. And by the way, there's one more thing कि इनका जो services होता है, which is like 60-70% EBITDA business, contributes to 22% of the revenue, which is, sorry, I guess 12% revenue of the business, which is highest in the industry. Industry average is something around 7%. So these guys are 12%. So overall, I felt it's a slam dunk apply. It would do well or not on listing, I'm not sure, but I personally feel promoters and the bankers have done each and everything to make this IPO extremely attractive. And Anchor Book was fantastic, one of the finest saw recently. So it's an apply from my end, and I feel it should be a good wealth creator.
Tanmay, मेरे एक दो question है, and again, like maybe from the point of understanding only. One, the segment in itself has so many listings, right? Like, seen co-working companies have seen so many listings, and it's an extremely competitive market at this moment of time, right? And that is also at the expense of saying that all these infra companies, your DLFs and like मंत्रीज of the world, are also starting co-working themselves. कि जो भी बिल्डर्स थे उनने सोचा कि यार कोई को दो, फिर वो आगे देता है तो वो भी वर्टिकली इंटीग्रेट कर लो और आगे वाला वैल्यू चेन में आगे चले जाओ और तुम ही दे दो मैनेज सर्विसेज भी. So how does that? I am not very sure on this segment as well. And second thing, if you look at their occupancy has been going down when I read somewhere that their occupancy rate is right now at 76%, which has been down like stable. Mature center occupancy rate is much lower than what it used to be. So occupancy is much lower, like steady state occupancy 81% in mature centers के लिए, which smart works is 89, IndiCubes is 87, office is 84%. So ऑक्यूपेंसी रेट भी तुम्हारा कम है, फिर आई अंडरस्टैंड मार्जिन इज अ सिंपल फंक्शन ऑफ रियलाइजेशन, राइट? अब उनका इंडस्ट्री जो भी रियलाइजेशन पर सीट है वो सबसे ज्यादा है, राइट? बिकॉज दे आर स्लाइटली मोर प्रीमियम. बट हाउ लॉन्ग वुड दैट सस्टेन? बिकॉज लाइक वो उनका ऑक्यूपेंसी तो कम होता जा रहा है ना, लाइक ओवर टाइम, ओवर द लास्ट 2-3 quarters. I think the occupancy has reduced, right? It's at 2-3 years. The occupancy was 84% FY23. Now it is down to 76% in FY25, right? So how do you look at that part? And then there is so much dilution. Like सब कुछ ही आ जाएगा, like 3000 CR is such a big dilution that just doesn't give me some comfort. Like if you could, and EV EBITDA पे भी महंगा है. I don't know, like why should we look at EV EBITDA, adjusted EBITDA पे, it's at 23 times, right? Which is higher than, let's say, IndiCube at 18, Office at 22. So how
No,
are
no,
you
no, no,
looking
no,
at these
no,
things?
no. Office and NDQ were at 38, 39 times. This just came at 20.5 times for 25. वो
अच्छा, EV
38 पे
EBITDA
ये
पे
20 पे आया. हाँ हाँ हाँ.
FY25 की बात कर रहे हैं अपन
25
सिर्फ,
की बात कर
not
रहा हूँ. Both are
not
at 38,
FY26.
IndiCube and SmartWorks, and sorry, IndiCube and SmartWorks, correct, and this just came at 20.5.
Got it.
So
Okay.
आधा ही आया,
And
almost आधा आया.
got it. And with respect to the margins, like your occupancy is falling. Occupancy has been falling.
सो
And how
हाँ,
do you look at it?
2023 से 2025 का आंसर ये है कि इन FY23 द इंक्रीज इन दी न्यू इन्वेंट्री वाज आई गेस जस्ट 15%. रीजन वाज द कोविड. तो कोविड का जो 2022 और 23 का था वो रैंप अप भी एग्जिस्टिंग आपकी इन्वेंट्री अवेलेबल थी, स्टेडी. इसके लिए आपका स्टेडी स्टेट जो ऑक्यूपेंसी दैट हैड इंक्रीज इन 2023, मतलब FY23. And from the H2, the new inventory had came had started building. So आपका FY24 में भी नंबर उतना ही था, फिर slightly नीचे ही था. But in 2020 FY25 these guys have done I guess 23-24% increase in the occupancy. And इसका एक और चीज ये है ना कि दूसरे operators work on 90%, 92% flexible space and 7 to 8% on co-working. These guys are at I guess 80-20 if I'm not wrong, कुछ 82-18 ऐसा कुछ तो इनका split है. So the increase, the pent up increase in the new inventory and less, the percentage towards the co-working than the peers are the two reasons. But इसमें नुआंस ये भी है कि जो आपका ऑन स्पॉट कस्टमाइज्ड इन्वेंट्री होती है उसका मार्जिन इज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक 20-30% मोर देन यूर लॉन्ग टर्म लीज्ड मैनेज स्पेस. सो दैट इज ऑल्सो वन रीजन बिहाइंड द मार्जिन, क्योंकि कोवर्किंग में भी बहुत अच्छा इनका फोकस है. And on the dilution, yes, actually, ज़्यादा dilution है. I personally feel dilution could have been lesser. But ये भी है ना यार कि 2016 से these guys, 2014 से these guys have invested and they have invested every 3 years. Rights issue के तो कम ही IPO कर रहे. So I feel, they haven't raised any external capital till date except the WeWork putting in during the COVID times in 2019. So मतलब ठीक है, मतलब yes, the dilution is significantly higher. बट लाइक थोड़ा सॉफ्ट कॉर्नर दे सकते हो.
Got it. Understood. Somehow, like I'll honestly tell you, this is a good segment, but and I used to think of it very highly of this segment, but अभी मेरे को ऐसा लगने लगा है ना कि इसमें ना मोट नहीं है यार, एंट्री बैरियर नहीं है बहुत ज्यादा. So I am slightly concerned, and because of which I remember like you were slightly positive on SmartWorks, I was negative, and I had said, yeah, I will not be applying. And somehow I have the same reason, but maybe this segment somehow works. I don't know. Like मेरे को उतना कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आ रहा है,
यार
so
स्मार्ट वर्क 100 से 40% ऊपर है.
I agree. I agree. I want to acknowledge that because I had said कि नहीं मेरे को नहीं समझ में आ रहा. At that moment of time, it didn't make sense to me. Similarly, at WeWorks is not making sense to me at this moment of
यार
time.
आई टेल यू ऑनेस्टली, स्मार्ट वर्क्स ना इससे 50% महंगा के 40% ऊपर आईपीओ प्राइस है. ये उसे आधा आके उधर ही है मतलब. यार मतलब आई टेल यू वेन यू ऑनेस्टली द पॉइंट की एक्चुअली देयर इज अ डेटा आई रेड दिस लाइक 2 hours back. In India there are 510 operators of the managed space. 510 is a fucking big number. And out of that I guess 200 crore plus के कुछ 20-25 players है. So इसका एक ये भी है कि क्या वो 20-25 के बाद सारे इतने छोटे हैं कि these are insignificant. But yes, recently all these guys are raising lot of capital. But again, I feel जो रैपिड इंक्रीज इन द जीसीसी हो रहा है ना, यू जस्ट सी इसका 3 साल पहले परसेंटेज जीसीसी परसेंटेज ऑफ रेवेन्यू कहाँ पे था? इट वाज एट आई गेस मिड सिंगल डिजिट, नाउ इट इज एट 22-23%. तो ये जो जीसीसी का बूम आ रहा है इंडिया के अंदर, एंड वन अनदर पॉइंट इज लाइक आई रिसेंटली वाज टॉकिंग टू वन बिग फोर के वन ऑफ द मैनेजिंग पार्टनर लाइक लास्ट वीक. सो ये से कि ये जो आपके जॉब शिफ्ट हो रहे हैं ना, सो इन यूके ऑल्सो द हाई लेवल गुड गुड पोजिशन जॉब्स हैव बीन गोइंग वैकेंट. सो इंडियंस आर कमिंग बैक इवन फ्रॉम द यूके, इट्स नॉट जस्ट द यूएस. सो ये जो सारे टैलेंटेड लोग जो बहुत ज्यादा एक्सपीरियंस यूके यूएस में जाके आए ना, दीज गाइज आर कमिंग टू इंडिया एंड एट अ लोअर और लाइक मतलब बेटर देन द इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड्स फॉर श्योर, बट लोअर देन योर यूके एंड यूएस के सैलरीज दे आर गेटिंग जॉइंट. सो this is the segment which is getting lot of traction towards the working space because ये सारे लोग premium end of the day. So this is a space which is gaining traction. One very good point I forgot to make is IT and ITES as a percentage of revenue. Peers are at 20 to 25, 30%. These guys are like low single digits. तो IT में इनका बहुत कम concentration. It is mostly your enterprises, Fortune 500 and Indian large scale startups. एंड दी कोवर्किंग कोवर्किंग के अंदर 8% में हो सकता है आईटी, वी डोंट नो दैट बिकॉज उसका स्प्लिट नहीं मिलता. बट ठीक है, 8% में कितना ही होगा, 5% होगा, उससे ज्यादा थोड़ी होगा. सो this is like good towards very low exposure towards IT first. Second is GCCs ka boom, and third premium inventory. So this is driving companies growth. And again, the industry reports suggest 19 से 20% growth for the industry for next 4 years. So like industry growing at 20% is extremely massive. So 20% is not a small growth at an industry level for sure. So I feel the largest player in the industry should also grow at least at the industry level mark.
Got it. Understood. So with that, we have kind of covered WeWorks. We have differing opinions. Maybe I would go with your opinion and see. But yeah, I would be taking मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है कि यार ये भरेगा नहीं इतना. Like this should be a very easy subscription end of the day is what my mindset is, and maybe that is also because I'm looking at the premium set as well. So I'm
This good thing na,
while we
basically retailers not participating. This means less flipping, less supply. We have seen what has happened in Smartworks or IndiGo. Man, institutions took it everything, and the stock has been running well. And also you look at the quality of the anchor book. I will tell you, very high quality anchor book. Like मतलब urban company CP plus के बाद मेरे को थर्ड बेस्ट लगी, मतलब अबव एलनबरी एंड बिलो सीपी प्लस एंड अर्बन कंपनी. तो थर्ड बेस्ट एंकर बुक ऑफ द ईयर मैन. दिस सजेस्ट समथिंग. मतलब ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है कि institutions are very wrong and every institution is wrong. Majority houses were in the anchor book and make good allocation.
कौन कौन है यार एंकर बुक में? एनी पर्टिकुलर नेम्स व्हिच?
एक मिनट, just give me 30 seconds, I'll just read it out.
In the meanwhile, I would kind of mention that I have pinned our Instagram as well. So if you are listening to us, we are also on Instagram. वहाँ पे हम क्या करते हैं कि we put in IPO stories in a minute. वहाँ पे जो भी basically we understand that this is what is the major point of the IPO, we try and put that there in a minute. So go ahead and follow us on Instagram as well. It would be helpful just to for you to see those 1 minute clips of promoters directly and understand the business. So that would be helpful. Go ahead and do that while Tanmay if you're
I'll
actually
just read it out. So मतलब सारे पढ़ लूं? मैंने लिस्ट
no,
खोल
just
दी.
tell me whatever seemed interesting to you.
ICICI Prudential, HDFC, White Oak, Goldman Sachs, Government of Singapore, sorry, not Government of Singapore, it is Abu Dhabi. Then White Oak है, IFL है, M&D, Motilal, Axis, Allianz, Mirae Asset, Canara Robeco, Tata, मधु केला जी का फंड है, टाटा एजी है, या गॉट एसबीआई जनरल, नुहामा, एडलवाइज, कैनरा, एचएसबीसी, बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, आदित्य बिरला, भारती एक्सा, कोटक, सब है. जेएम है,
आजकल
ओरिजिन है, बॉयंट है.
FIOs नहीं आ रहे हैं ना ज्यादा. आजकल मेनली डोमेस्टिक से ही भर रहा है यार.
हाँ
DII
हाँ,
से भर रहा
एवरी
है.
आई टेल यू, कल एलजी भी आएगा, बट एलजी विल हैव स्लाइटली बेटर एफआई पोर्शन. में लुक एट टाटा, आई टेल यू मैन, मेरे को टाटा खाकर वो कितना हॉरिबल लगा ना फ्रैंकली. मतलब यू जस्ट
आते हैं
लुक.
उस पे आते हैं उस पे आते हैं. We'll come back to it. But yeah, with that we have covered WeWorks. Let me quickly, in the interest of time, also move forward and go to the second company which Sachin has been patiently waiting with. But yeah, let me set up Greenleaf Envirotech and like incorporated in 2010, company provides comprehensive EPC and turnkey solutions for wastewater treatment (WWT) projects with a strong focus on sewage treatment plants (STPs) and effluent treatment plants (ETPs). So Greenleaf Envirotech करके कंपनी है वेस्ट वाटर सेगमेंट में एसएमई है छोटा सा डब्ल्यू द आईपीओ इट्स 22 करोड़ आईपीओ 18 करोड़ फ्रेश है 4 CR ओएफएस है जब से सेबी ने 20% ओएफएस रूल निकाला सबने मान लिया कि भाई 20% ओएफएस तो डालना है which is strange because usually SMEs didn't have OFS but now the number of OFSs and SMEs have just increased too much. In terms of the market cap is 81 crores. So 81 crores की एंकर market cap पे 22 crores का dilution है 27% 28%. In terms of financial 39 crore का top line था FY25 का 5 CR का bottom line है. So 5 CR पे 81 यानी 16 के PE पे आ रही है. In terms of the LM is Smart Horizon for this company. So over to you, Sachin, to talk about Greenleaf Envirotech.
Am I audible?
Yep.
All right. So I'll keep this one short and make better way for Tata. So for this Greenleaf, they started back in 2010, and but the scale that they have reached in the revenues, they came up recently only. So what they do is they operate in this EPC segment for wastewater, sewage treatment plants, effluent treatment plants, etc., and basic wastewater treatment solutions that they provide. 92 to 93% revenues come from this EPC, and the rest is that operations and maintenance O&M contracts for 3 to 4 years duration. Currently, they also have 155 CR of order books in hand, and that comprises of nearly 17 projects. 13 is on this EPC basis, and the rest is on O&M. And some more projects are also in the pipeline. Generally, what they bid is what the bid rate, the tender win rate that they get while they bid for the projects is around 20 to 22%. And earlier they used to do subcontracting, but slowly they have ventured into direct contracting for their projects. Now coming to their financials, in FY23 they did 26 CR of revenues with 8% EBITDA, and this was largely subcontracting. In FY24, almost all the projects were again subcontracting, but the scale that they managed in revenues was 33 CR and slightly higher EBITDA through 11%. In FY25, the revenues rose to 39 CR, and the EBITDA also rose to 17% with 12% PAT margins, because the subcontracting fell to around 30 to 35%, and the rest got into direct contracting, so that helped to get better margins. Now for the current year, they are given that the working capital they are using entirely for this year as per the projections in the RHP, so maybe they can do 50 to 60% growth for this year. For the risk that I see in this business, majority of the revenues is coming from Gujarat, around 75 to 80%, so high regional concentration, with some other states as well like Maharashtra, MP, Rajasthan. And the promoter group also has some unlisted entities which are doing similar water treatment solutions only. And though they have signed some non-competition agreements with them, but those are not very foolproof, to say the least. Also, the subcontracting part for their revenues is not totally gone, so there will be margin pressures going ahead. And all of the projects that they operate, those are fixed price projects. So if there are some price escalations in raw material or anything, they do not get to pass it on to the customers. So their margins also take some hit. For the IPOs, it is a fixed price issue, so no anchors here. And apart from the OFS, the net proceeds go into variety of uses. Around 2 CR is for new machinery, 35 lakhs is for some lab testing equipment, 1.35 CR is for loan repayment, which should help in the interest burden as well, and 9 CR is for working capital. Now coming to the pricing for FY25, it is near 17 times, which is now the standard for these SME IPOs recently, and probably near 13 or maybe lower than that for FY26. No shortage of peers in this segment. Many are present in SME as well as in Mainboard. There is FWA, One Recent, Satwa Engineering, Apex Ecotech. All are trading in the similar range for forward multiples. There is also Felix Industries, which has somewhat higher margins and some better technology also as well, and is targeting better growth for FY26, near 2 to 2.5 times growth. So that commands some higher multiples. Lead manager is smart horizon, decent enough, and they did manage to do okay with the recent listings. The IP price was protected. So for the final thing, I think that the sector itself is now derated. So the companies that are probably having a higher growth and visibility and margins as well, so they should get better multiples. Plus this Greenleaf is not even talking about the new techs जो zero liquid discharge हो गया, reverse osmosis etc. तो वो सब की बात ये लोग नहीं कर रहे हैं. तो I think that they are probably lower in the value chain of these water treatment solutions. So for now that is the case with Greenleaf. So currently personally I'm not interested in this one. That's all.
Got it. Thanks, Sachin. ये कौन सी ज्योग्राफी आपने बताया? गुजरात, राइट? राजस्थान में बहुत पैसा अटकता है वाटर में, फ्रॉम व्हाट आई अंडरस्टैंड. और ये
Right,
सेगमेंट तो
right,
पूरा ही अटक गया, राइट? लाइक उसके चक्कर में डी रेट हो गया, उसके बाद आया ही नहीं. लाइक ऑल कंपनीज हैव स्ट्रगल, राइट? इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग. जो
right,
बीच में
right,
बहुत ज्यादा बूम था, ऐसा हो जाएगा वैसा हो जाएगा, कुछ हुआ नहीं है. एंड ऑफ द डे एवरीथिंग इज बैक होम. So the segment doesn't seem interesting. It's a fixed price issue. सब कुछ available होगा day one पे. So and there are better companies right now. Like we are struggling with big issues. So यहाँ पे like I would also skip this one. But yeah, I can see how people have left. 900 950 लोग थे, अचानक से 850 हो गए. 100 people left कि ऐसे भी कर रहे हो आराम से आ रहे हो. So maybe time to call them back. We'll start with Tata Capital. But yeah, thank you so much, Sachin, for doing Envirotech patiently. With that, let's move forward and probably let me set up the Tata Capital issue. But yeah, before that, just again highlighting, if you haven't joined us on Instagram, ऊपर pinned comment है, please go ahead and do that. We are putting IPO stories in a minute there. Like in a minute, what is with respect to IPO, what is the most interesting part. Abhi tak we are doing promoter interactions, but what we'll probably also think is we'll do our reviews in a minute as well. If you think that's more interesting on Instagram, you would want to listen to our reviews as well in a minute, tell us. We'll try and do that as well. But yeah, with that, maybe moving forward, setting up Tata Capital, incorporated in 1991, a subsidiary of Tata Sons Private Limited. Company operates as a NBFC in India, offering consumer loan, commercial finance, IB, private equity, and clean tech financing solutions. तो जब मैंने ये पढ़ा तो मेरे को काफी इंटरेस्ट है. आई रियली वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि भाई कहाँ कहाँ किस किस सेगमेंट में ये सब आईबी प्राइवेट इक्विटी क्यों कर रहे हैं. बट मे बी तन्मय यू विल एक्सप्लेन व्हेन यू कवर द कंपनी, because I only knew about consumer loans and commercial finance maybe. In terms of the IPO, it's a huge size. IPO 15,500 crores का IPO है, 6,850 का top fresh है. बाकी मेजर OFS है अराउंड 8,500 करोड़ का, 8.5 CR का. Market cap is insane. Like market cap is 1.4 lakh crores, which is let's say 1/4 of Bajaj Finance. Bajaj Finance is at 6 lakh crores and is a देखिए day one पे ही large cap है when it gets listed. FY25 फाइनेंशियल्स की बात करूं तो रेवेन्यू 28,000 करोड़ है. 28,370 CR is the revenue of the company. PAT 3,600 crores है. So they have made 3,600 crores of PAT. Don't want to do the maths also कि कितना पी हुआ वो आप देख लेना. In terms of the LM is Kotak, Axis, BNP Paribas, Citi and HDFC. So over to Tanmay to talk about Tata Capital.
आवाज ठीक आ रही है मेरी?
हाँ जी.
So Tata Capital Limited is India's third largest NBFC with an asset under management of 2.3 lakh crore. ठीक है. So Tata Capital is a flagship financial services arm of the Tata Group of companies post merger of TMFL. So इसने एक छोटा सा नहीं, काफी बड़ा मर्जर किया with the finance CV और commercial vehicle finance lending arm of the Tata Motors. So वो आम इन्होंने अपने Tata Capital ने acquire कर लिया. So this is post, so third largest after this. Uh, the company offers housing finance, corporate and MSME loans, CV vehicle financing, green financing, supply chain financing, equipment financing, loan against securities LS, education loans, personal loans, consumer loans, microfinance. So bottom line, गोल्ड लोन छोड़ के और आपका एक और सेगमेंट था लीज रेंटल का फाइनेंसिंग छोड़ के सब कुछ करता है. एवरीथिंग यू नो एक्सेप्ट गोल्ड लोन्स एंड लीज रेंटल लोन्स. ये हो गया. Abhi, so the company is also the one of the fastest growing NBFCs in India, and the company has served 73 lakh customers since inception. Abhi, there has been, there's one good difference between Tata Capital and other NBFCs is, other NBFCs have a hero product. Let's say, Cholamandalam has got its own hero product. Bajaj has got your consumer loans and your electronic related loans. So that is their hero product. Uh, Bajaj Housing has got housing finance as a hero product. Even HDB has got your MSME and housing as a hero product, but Tata Capital doesn't have any hero product. These guys are equally diversified between housing finance loan, which has been their strongest and the fastest growing segment, the MSME, SME loans, that is also doing well. The CV finance, vehicle financing, earlier it was zero, but after merger it is at 14%. 14% is a huge number in 2.3 lakh crore kind of an AUM. So, fairly diversified NBFC. ठीक है. And to just again diversify, the company has also said कि अभी हम fee based services पे भी जाएंगे, that would have distribution of third party credit card, insurance and allied services. Then another would be wealth management schemes, मतलब third party supplier of फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज प्रोडक्ट्स को हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करेंगे, उसे हम एक फी कमीशन कह लो उसे. देन दिस गाइस हैव स्टार्टेड AIF, ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड, ऑल्टरनेटिव्स बोलते हैं उसको. They have started that. From there they earn a fee income. They're started some few more services they are looking to enter. So fairly diversified book. So 98% is the proper financing revenue, and 2% is the fee based. But even for a 8,000 crore revenue, 2% is like 550, 600 crore, which is fairly large. The company has got 1,500 plus branches in 27 states and union territories. It is a AAA rated NBFC, which is the highest possible rating. मतलब इसके ऊपर कोई rating ही नहीं होती. The most superior rating for any finance company. Company is raising 15,512 crores, out of which 6,846 crores is a fresh issue, and rest 8,666 crores is an offer for sale by their parent Tata Sons. So the fresh issue will be kept for the augmentation of tier 1 capital, which would increase the capital base, tier A capital base of the company. Null components financials. तो यहाँ पे रेवेन्यू नहीं होगा, टोटल इनकम होगा, ठीक है. एंड इट वुड हैव निम कंपोनेंट, नेट इंटरेस्ट मार्जिन component, and then the PAT component. The total income for FY23 stands at 13,637 crores, NIM of 6,150 crores, and a PAT of 3,029 crores. 24 revenue 18,200 crores, NIM of 8,071 crores, and PAT of 3,150 crores. In 25, it was at 28,370 crores, NIM of 13,035 crores, and PAT of 3,665 crores. So, NIM also includes fee based income. Okay, मतलब lending से जो आपने net interest बनाया, that plus the fee income, and not just the NIM. तो उसमें 3-4% का difference आता है, that you need to look very well. Q1 the company did a revenue of total income of 7,665 crores, NIM of 3,442 crores, and a PAT of 990 crores. ठीक है. अभी इसका मैं थोड़ा आपको मेन हाईलाइट KPIs बता देता हूँ. कॉस्ट ऑफ बोरोइंग इज 7.8%, फाइनेस्ट इन वन ऑफ द फाइनेस्ट, क्योंकि एक और एनबीएफसी का सेम है, सो फाइनेस्ट इन द इंडस्ट्री. यील्ड एट 12.3%, ROE एट 12.5%, ROA ऑफ 1.8%. अब देखो यहाँ पे दिस यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड वेरी वेल कि द नंबर्स आई एम टेलिंग यू आर Q1 नंबर्स एंड नॉट FY25 नंबर्स. व्हाई इज इट सो? इसमें दो चीजें, व्हाई आई एम सेइंग, इसके दो कारण है. पहला, Q1 is generally has got some lumpiness in terms of ratios, और वो पूरे साल में नॉर्मलाइज हो जाता है. बट तो आप बोलोगे FY25 क्यों नहीं ले रहे हो? मैंने Q1 क्यों बोला? रीजन इज वेरी सिंपल. आपका Q1 के पहले टाटा मोटर फाइनेंस के साथ आपको मर्जर हुआ है, and I'll tell you that entity has got very different kind of fundamentals than the original Tata Capital TCL business. तो vehicle financing in itself is an extremely high margin business, high growth business, but at the same time, the provisions you keep for a vehicle financing product are extremely higher than your normal finance product. Your NPA ratios for CV financing or vehicle financing are, I would say, 5 times higher than your normal. So if you just look at industry में जो आपको GNPA होता है for the top 10, for the vehicle financing stands at roughly 4.5 to 5%, which is extremely massive. और आपका net NPA stands at roughly 2.5 to 3%, which is also extremely massive. But if you just look at normal NBFCs, the top 5, top 10, the GNPA stands at 1.2 to 1.4%, and the NNPA stands at 0.5 to 0.8 के बीच में. So these are not complete accurate numbers, क्योंकि मैं भी उतना तो पढ़ाई करके नहीं आ सकता. I'm just telling you ballpark range, और उसके अंदर ही आना चाहिए आंसर. I'm sure on that end. So if you just look at numbers before the merger, they were very different. आपका जो एनपीए था, सो एनपीए के नंबर में आ जाए तो देन आई विल जस्ट टेल यू, उससे पहले आरओई इज एट 12.5%, दैट अर्लियर इट यूज्ड टू बी 15%. ROA is at 1.8, earlier used to be 2.1. इनका PCR provision coverage ratio is at 53.9%, earlier used to be at 65%. So good difference. आपका GNP अभी बता देता हूँ, 2.1% as of Q1 FY26. In Q4 25 before the merger it was at 1.5%. So almost डेढ़ गुना हो गए इनके after the merger. NNPA stands at 1%. Earlier it was 0.5%, double हो गए, just because of that 14% increase in the AUM of your Tata Motor Finance. तो this was the reason मैं आपको Q1 बताया. This has got one negative कि मैं आपको सही पिक्चर नहीं दे रहा हूँ, but at the same point if I tell you the FY25 number, आप ये merger को समझ नहीं पाओगे. So it is slightly controversial, but I felt कि Q1 देना would have been better at least at NP और PCR level. ROE तो वो पूरे साल में normalize होना चाहिए. And the management has indicated कि in like couple of years the number should be back to the normal, and we believe the Tata Group should do that. मार्केट कैप है इसका 1,38,383 करोड़. सो आई जस्ट ब्रेक इट. इसमें पी कुछ नहीं होता, ठीक है. पी नाम का कॉन्सेप्ट फाइनेंस में एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता. तो 36 का पी हो या 360 का, इट डजंट एग्जिस्ट. व्हाट एग्जिस्ट इज योर प्राइस टू बुक. हाँ, अभी इट डज नॉट एग्जिस्ट डजंट मीन लॉस मेकिंग एनबीएफसी को पीवी पे देखोगे, दैट्स अ स्लाइटली डिफरेंट कॉन्सेप्ट, बट उसके अंदर अलग चीजें लगती है. बट एटलीस्ट दिस इज अ हाईली प्रॉफिटेबल, सो आई वुड लाइक टू कंसिडर दिस एज अ नॉर्मल कंपनी. इसका जो पीबी है एट द एंड ऑफ Q1 एनएवी इज नेट एसेट वैल्यू पर शेयर. उसको बुक वैल्यू भी बोलते हैं अपने सरल भाषा में. इट इज बुक वैल्यू नेटवर्थ डिवाइडेड बाय नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स आउटस्टैंडिंग. सो बिफोर द आईपीओ टोटल शेयर्स आउटस्टैंडिंग इशूड लेवल पे एनएवी वाज 112, नहीं 88 रुपीज, आई गेस 88 रुपीज था, करेक्ट. उसके हिसाब से प्राइस टू बुक एट Q1 इज कमेंट 4 times, 3.97 एग्जैक्ट, 4 राउंड फिगर, 4 times. If you just add up the new capital and 25 to 27% CAGR on your normal net worth, which has been from FY25 22 to 25, you just add up around -2%, 28%. I'm just taking 25-26%. तो जो NAV आता है वो कुछ आता है 116-117 रुपए, which should take your 326 के प्राइस बैंड पे अप्रोक्स 2.8 times एग्जैक्टली 2.79. तो अभी पीयर्स की बात कर लेता हूं मैं. 4 times FY25 Q1 एंड प्री मनी मतलब बिफोर द आईपीओ. 2.8 times पोस्ट आईपीओ FY26 एंड. वेरी क्लियर. Peers, Bajaj is at 6 times, 6.2 times 25, 5 times 26. Cholamandalam is at 5 times FY26, मतलब FY26 पे. Sundaram is at 3 times, SDB is at 3. So SDB is not at 3 times frankly, क्योंकि जो आपने को नंबर से दिखाया है ऑन द फाइनेंशियल, उसके अंदर नया कैपिटल ऐड ना, सो post that it should come significant land. But चलो, for this point it is at 3 times. So Cholamandalam and Bajaj are very different entities and extremely high quality entities. This is also high quality, but for sure. But a TMFL merger has slightly taken off that, for at least like 2 or 3 quarters. So now talking on my view, for at least like 6 months, I feel it should get valued at 3 times FY26 price to book in extremely shortish term. मतलब उतना तो डिजर्व करता है. रीजन बिंग फास्टेस्ट, वन ऑफ द फास्टेस्ट टॉप 3 highest growing NBFC in the top 10. The Tata brand towards it, very good liquidity position post the IPO. Before the IPO शायद और liquidity की जरूरत थी. PCR इनको अच्छा करना पड़ेगा. NIMs पे they have worked well, and the CV should increase. Your TMFL merger should by a decent margin should increase your NIM, because it's a high margin product. Your fee based income should increase from like 2% to 4% in like 2 years. Then your housing finance is doing well. So overall 3 times FY26 post money looks extremely reasonable. So if you just extrapolate those numbers, आपका upside निकलता है 7%, 7.5%, 7.5% to 7%. और यूर एक्सट्रीमली शॉर्टेस्ट। अगर मैं आपको थोड़ा लॉन्ग टर्म होराइजन दे, इट वुड बी एट 3.5 times FY26 पोस्ट मनी, क्योंकि FY27 का सेंस ही नहीं बनता, क्योंकि इसका नंबर्स थोड़े अलग रहेंगे इन FY26। 26 is still predictable and I feel 27 numbers should be extremely better. Even if I go with those numbers with extreme hypothetical calculations, around 135 रुपए टाइप का आना चाहिए। तो उसके हिसाब से 326 डिवाइडेड बाय 135 होता है अराउंड 2.5 times, और लॉन्गिस्ट टर्म में 3.2 टर्म्स। तो इफ आई जस्ट पुट इन एक्सट्रापोलेट दोस नंबर्स, लॉन्ग टर्म में 25% एग्जैक्ट बैठता है। 3.5 times FY26 प्राइस टू 25% एग्जैक्ट बैठता है। So, but this is like I would say 3 to 4 quarters kind of a view. So I feel so there is one more nuance कि इसका जो राइट्स इशू दैट वाज एट 343 रुपीज पर शेयर, उसे 5% नीचे आईपीओ आ रहा है। सो my view is very simple. Top class business house in the country, the best of best class. Second, very high quality company. TMFL merger के पहले it was superlatively high quality. Now it is still a high quality, but superlative word cut गया है. Reason being, आपका TMFL has bought the fundamentals at a lower end, and आपको numbers बताए. You have got the glimpse already. So, finest business house, very good business, high quality, high growth business, very strong management, good capital base, good segments to operate in, good geographical distribution, valuations decent, and honestly और सस्ता हो सकते थे, अभी ठीक है, whatever these are not bad valuations. So I feel इसके अंदर मुझे एटलीस्ट पर्सनल लेवल पे 5 से 8% लिस्टिंग इन क्लियरली लेफ्ट ऑन द टेबल दिख रहा है। एंड एट अ 1 year व्यू आई वुड से 25% मेरे को दिख रहा है इसके अंदर। एंड एट 1.58 लाख करोड़ मार्केट कैप 25% एक्सट्रीमली गुड, एक्सट्रीमली गुड। सो इट इज डिसेंटली प्राइस्ड, और बेटर हो सकता था अगर ये 310 होता ना, या 350 खुल जाता सीधा, 15% ऊपर खुलता है। बट ठीक है, नाउ द थिंग्स व्हिच आर डन। सो applying for small listing gains, and I won't go it for longer term because I'm not a fan of this sector. No, matlab, it would go at a good level for sure, but I at personal level might not consider for a longest term, क्योंकि मुझे मीडियम बेस पे हाई ग्रोथ कंपनीज ज्यादा पसंद है, so extremely large base, but the people who like those industry beating returns, let's say market beating returns, index beating returns, like index grows at 12.5% averagely. If you like that 15 to 20% wala band, which is very good to safeguard and have a defensive portfolio, like आपके 10 में से 3 स्टॉक डिफेंसिव होने चाहिए, तो this is one of those companies which should give you some defense at your portfolio level. So it is a very good company even for longest term, as it is going to protect your portfolio and give very industry leading returns. So good for long term. शॉर्ट टर्म आई डाउट, मीडियम टर्म आई डाउट, क्योंकि इसका Q2 इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी क्रिटिकल नंबर। Q2 पे मार्केट की निगाहें बहुत ज्यादा रहेगी। Q2 में इन्होंने कुछ किया तो आईपीओ प्राइस पे ही आएगा, शायद 2-4% नीचे ही जाएगा। सो मीडियम टर्म स्लाइट डाउट, शॉर्ट टर्म लार्ज डाउट, लॉन्ग टर्म बुलिश। लिस्टिंग इन मेरे हिसाब से 5 से 7% बनना चाहिए। इफ नॉट एज पर सेंटिमेंट्स, इट इज फेयरली पॉसिबल कि ये ना हो, रीजन बिंग द साइज ऑफ द आईपीओ। एंड आई विल बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, आई वोंट लाई, मेरे को एंकर बुक बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं आई, बहुत ही खराब एंकर बुक। दैट वाज माय वेरी पर्सनल ओपिनियन, बट इफ आई वुड हैव रिटन दैट इन अ ट्वीट, लोग मेरे को गालियां देते कि तुझे इतना 150 नाम पे मजा नहीं आ रहा। अब देखो, मॉर्गन स्टैनली के 20 फंड है, गोल्डमैन के 15 फंड है, आदित्य बिरला के 8 फंड है। अगर मैं यूनिक नाम बोलूं ना, 52 नाम है खाली। कुछ तो ऐसे फंड थे जो इंडियन मार्केट में पहली बार पैसा लगा रहा है, और उनका देखते उनको स्पॉन्सर मॉर्गन स्टैनली है। सो दिस वाज जस्ट अ टैक्टिक टू इंक्रीज द नेम्स इन द एंकर बुक एंड नॉट द डिमांड। और जो 5 गुना का हुआ है कि 5 गुना एंकर बुक भरा है, आई हैव वेरी हाई डाउट्स कि दिस इज नॉट पॉसिबल। ये होता तो आपके नीचे के फंड लोगों को मिलता नहीं लोकेशन। सो एंकर बुक वॉज पुअर एज पर मी, वेरी पुअर। मतलब WeWork was 10 times better than this. But ठीक है, finance companies markets are not very bullish, and that is fair also. But I feel there's one more good point here. The rural demand has been inching up. The GST cuts are fueling growth for your mid-tier electronics market at the consumption from the Q2 second half. Q2 second half, I mean, is your August, mid-September. and even October is seeing fairly good due to the festive season. वो तो GST हो या ना हो अच्छा ही जाने वाला है. Even November should do fairly because it would generate a pent up demand which should par the increased inflation ka slight decreased tone in the November, and that would be with a tone of decrease in the GST. So even November should be well. So this 3 months pent up demand for everything in the country can act as a positive for the finance companies, and I feel this is extremely possible, and markets might value this company at good multiples for 3 months. So my overall view is इसको अप्लाई करना चाहिए, बिल्कुल करना चाहिए, बिकॉज द रिस्क टू रिवॉर्ड इज फेवरेबल. मेरे को माइनस में 2% दिखता है, प्लस मेरे को 8% दिखता है. उसके ऊपर आई एम मोर देन हैप्पी, एंड आई वुड बी easily booking my position if I see any return be above 8.5%. 8.5 any return, I'm quoting this stock. At least for 10 days. 5-10 days when you're listing plus 2-3 days ka view मान लो. So I would apply, not full force, not a bad company, very good company. Valuations could have been better, high quality business. Apply from my end.
Got it. Thank you, Tanmay. Again, one of those businesses which uh, runs well in frenzies, but it's such a big IPO that we don't know how. Like, and the markets are also very choppy, right? Like, there's so much liquidity which is going to be taken out of markets, which is we are seeing being taken out of markets. So I think this maybe allotment would be super liberal. Is
Under
what my
subscribe रहेगा,
viewpoint is.
under subscribe रहेगा. Retail firm.
Everything retail and SHNI, PHNI, everything under subscribe.
Retail would be undersubscribed for sure. I
Right.
expect 0.7 times in terms of applications, 0.9 in terms of money total. Big HNI should have barely app-wise 1x. SHNI will get more than, I guess, 1.5 times. SHNI हो जाना चाहिए 1.2 से 1.4x. A big HNI should get barely subscribed by in terms of applications, not in terms of money. Money wise तो हो जाएगा 3-4 गुना. So I feel 2 लाख से हल्का सा ज्यादा माल आ सकता है if the premiums remain the same और नीचे आएगा, but I feel allotment would be extremely liberal.
Got it. So yeah, that was with respect to Tata Capital. I understand there are a few questions with respect to LG as well because Tata Capital का पैसा LG में नहीं लगेगा. So maybe Tanmay, if you could also give a very high level sense on LG, although I
I'm
am
very
planning
bullish.
to apply on LG.
I'm very bullish.
Yeah,
मजाक नहीं
yeah,
कर रहा हूँ,
but
मेरे को
before
50% ऊपर दिख रहा है LG एक साल के अंदर. Like, I'm not joking. I'm serious.
I, from what I understand, 34x pay, right? And PS are all at like all these
60 to 70.
consumer
हाँ. नहीं मतलब
durables.
I'll tell you very
They're doing
honestly,
20.
LG का ना कोई peer था, ना कोई है, ना कोई रहेगा. Reason being the segments. Samsung देखो, 80% sales from the mobile phones. Look at someone like Whirlpool or your Daikin. These guys are at complete AC market. Look at Havells, 80%, 75% from the wires. Then your electronic things come in. You have got Bajaj, small handy appliances, but उनका भी बहुत अलग है, मतलब of fundamental. So I feel this cannot be compared with the peers. इसका और एक reason ये भी है, ACs are going to get always a higher multiple. वो perform करे ना करे, result अच्छा है बुरा है कुछ भी हो, कुछ भी ठंडी आए गर्मी आए, वो अच्छे मल्टीपल पे रहेंगे. Reason being ACs and their companies, you look at any economic globally, they have been at extremely good valuations when a country is from your developing to developed. This has been phenomena in the US, in the Japan, in the China, in the Germany, in the Sweden, in the Finland, in the Slovakia. It has been for everyone. So AC company से compare करना, I feel it shit. So इसका नहीं हो सकता comparison. But another thing I look at this is FY26 में बहुत growth नहीं आने वाला है. It would be mid single digit growth. 27 might be extremely good and I expect it to be very good, but इसको उनकी तरह multiple नहीं मिल सकता. But what valuations it is coming at, they are very juicy, extremely juicy. So I'm fairly positive.
Got it. But yeah, we'll probably do one quick space as well if we don't. This is the review, but if we'll try and do. Let's see. But yeah, that is with respect to today's IPO. Just want to highlight once more. If you haven't joined our Instagram, the link is in the pinned comments. आप Instagram पे जाके check करो. There's a IPO stories in a minute series जहाँ पे हमने 7 companies का details डाला है. We'll also try and do our own reviews in a minute if there is more interest on that part uh, as well. But yeah, let's see. That is with respect to
मैं क्या
today's
बोल रहा हूँ
IPO.
मनीष भाई, सुनो ना. वो लास्ट
One
टाइम
हाँ जी.
रिक्वेस्ट आया था ना कि
one
लास्ट में
point
1 मिनट का
on
ब्रीफ
Tata.
कर लेंगे. तो वो कर लेते हैं।
किसका?
वो कंक्लूडिंग रिमार्क फॉर लाइक 1 मिनट में तीनों
हाँ,
IPO ऐसा कुछ
श्योर
कर लेते
श्योर
हैं।
श्योर श्योर
सचिन कैन
श्योर
स्टार्ट एंड
श्योर।
आई कैन गो इट।
मैं टाटा में ये ऐड करना चाहता था कि जो उनकी प्रमोटर होल्डिंग है तो वो 85% के आसपास
करेक्ट।
रहेगी, तो दैट डाइल्यूशन का वो जो ओवर
हाँ,
रहेंगे तो वो उसकी
वो
वैल्यूशन
वो रहेगा 3 साल
ऑलवेज
में उनको 10 टका और निकालना पड़ेगा।
वो
यस।
करना है उसके लिए वो LIC को कुछ तो उनने वो नहीं
नहीं
किया
नहीं,
था।
वो खाली LIC को ही मिलेगा यार,
इनको
उनको
नहीं
नहीं
मिलेगा।
मिलेगा। ना ना ना, दैट हैज बीन,
मुझे तो
आपको
बहुत
पता है,
मिलेगा।
पिछले 10 साल में खाली LIC तो ओनली कंपनीज गॉट दैट एग्जम्पशन, बाकी और कोई नहीं था, शायद जियो को भी ना मिले।
नहीं मिलेगा, जियो को
नहीं
भी नहीं
नहीं,
मिलेगा।
जियो को भी नहीं मिलेगा।
हाँ
वाह।
हाँ, अभी पिछले 10 साल में LIC इज द ओनली केस। GIC कोल इंडिया वेयर ऑल्सो इन दिस एवरंग, उनको करना पड़ा। 6 महीना डिले हुआ था फॉर कोल इंडिया, बट उनको करना पड़ा।
गॉट इट
2015, हाँ।
गॉट इट या। With that, maybe Sachin, what's your strategy? What are you planning to do this week?
I will probably apply only in WeWorks and skip Tata and that Greenleaf.
Got it. I would do the same, honestly. Like WeWorks also, I'm not sure. I haven't made my mind. I would be very selective with WeWorks. Let's see how much I want to apply. Because वहाँ पे भी मेरे को लग रहा है सब मिल जाएगा. To keep some money for LG. So LG is where everything is. We'll try and cover LG separately. But Tanmay, what's your view?
माय सिंपल, ग्रीन लीफ मेरे पर्सनल लेवल पे पड़ी नहीं है, एंड गोइंग विद सचिन से आई वोंट अप्लाई। क्यों ही अप्लाई करूं, मतलब मैं सेंस ही नहीं बनता मुझे इस बात का। अच्छा कर ले अलग बात है, बट आई एम नॉट पर्सनली इंटरेस्टेड। टाटा कैपिटल, आई वोंट गो फुल फोर्स, आई बी अप्लाइंग सम, like I expect mid single digit listing gains, but like कर सकते हैं ऐसा, बिकॉज अलॉटमेंट में अगर फर्म अलॉटमेंट मिल रहा है मेरे को, अगर 5 या 4 टका भी मिल रहा है डे वन पे, आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल टुवर्ड्स गॉड, यू नो। कमिंग ऑफ वीवर्क आई एम श्योरली अप्लाइंग। आई इवन एक्सपेक्ट सम लिस्टिंग गेन्स, नहीं मिले आई विल बी वेरी हैप्पी टू होल्ड। रीजन बीइंग, ऑफिस में आई हैव like 2.5 times my money, स्मार्टवर्क्स have made 25-27% returns, उसके बाद भी वो चला। आई डोंट ओन स्मार्टवर्क्स हियर एट दिस पॉइंट, बट I have been fan of this sector. I have been making money, or this is coming at slam dunk cheap valuations. Like and institutional demand has been great, so I would be applying. If it doesn't list well, I'm very comfortable to hold. क्योंकि recently मैंने थोड़ा liquidation किया है, so I've got some liberty to hold. I would be applying in both the main boards, and more money of mine is going to go towards LG.
Got it. So what I will then do is I will change my verdict on WeWorks. देखते हैं, अगर QIB interest होगा तो मैं भी लगा दूंगा यार. Like it all depends on QIB interest. If QIB interest is there, वो दिख जाएगा, right? Like it can't not show. तो उस हिसाब
करेक्ट,
से देखते
वैसे
हैं कौन
स्मार्टवर्क्स में
बेस्ट
नहीं
है.
था यार।
ठीक है.
ठीक है,
We'll
चलो
see.
चलो, आई विल द सीइंग द एंकर बुक, इट शुड बी। स्मार्टवर्क्स का एंकर बड़ा खराब आया था, मतलब डिसेंटली खराब आया था, नॉट वेरी पुअर, बट दिस इट्स एंकर बुक वाज लाइक आई वुड रेट इट टॉप, थर्ड बेस्ट आफ्टर Aditya Infotech and your urban company.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Let's see what comes out of it. With that, we are towards the close of this episode. We'll try and do one more space. Please do join our Instagram and our YouTube channel. The links are in the pinned comments, and then we'll see you again. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Thank you everyone.